Jalen, too, what'd you think of the way he carried over what he did Tuesday into tonight?
Yeah, he was confident. He shot the ball well. He made a couple of bad plays. He'd be the first to tell you. But I thought, yeah, Jalen's a good player, and he's a tough matchup for folks. And when he and Christian and Oach are shooting the ball like they shot it tonight, that just adds a whole new dimension to us.
Coach, you said that you're not allowing yourself to dwell on losing out on the tournament last spring. Was there any kind of a heartstrings moment tonight watching the pregame video and having nothing in there from, what might have been kind of moment for you?
Absolutely not. But it wasn't because I don't feel it. It's because that didn't even cross my mind as I'm watching that video. I wasn't thinking about last year at all when I watched that video. So, but, last year's done. It's over. We weren't the only one that, had a great year and didn't get a chance to play in the tournament. So, I'm not thinking about that. We're thinking about, this year and moving forward.
Could you comment on playing in the Fieldhouse with 100 fans or so in the stands?
I thought that it was not great by any stretch. I thought it, but the atmosphere here was 10 times better than what it was in Indy. Indy, there was none at all. At least we had some cutouts and had a couple people in here, so that was positive. But yeah, it's not the same. It's certainly different. But it was just good to play, and it's good to play in the Fieldhouse and shoot on some rims that we're a little bit more comfortable with.
Hey, Coach, we're 4 games into the season now, and every game you guys have had a different leading scorer. Is this something you anticipated coming into the season, or is it just kind of played out this way?
No, I think that I think I said that that it'll be different guys, different nights, and certainly Marcus. I think he may have led us the first game, if I'm not mistaken, but he hadn't really scored the ball since then. But still he's just as important as anybody. I think it'll be different people just based on how people guard us and who's got a hot hand. But that didn't bother me at all. I kind of like it.
Hey, how was Marcus tonight? Totally back, fine? I mean, he obviously looked okay.
Yeah, I thought he looked better. I mean, his eyes actually were open. He was able to smile a little bit and all those things. He told me that he thought he turned the corner yesterday. Of course, that may be coincidentally, that was our day off. Maybe that was one reason why he kind of turned the corner. But I thought he looked good. I thought he looked much better. He was out of it the last 4 or 5 days, guys. And so we were just very fortunate and happy that, that it wasn't anything they could test positive for. But he did have something going on, a bug or something going on with him.
Bill, what did you think about your three-point shooting tonight and your three-point defense?
I actually thought our shooting was pretty good. I mean, you look at it. I mean, that's we make 13 and go 13 to 26. That's pretty good. I think they were 9 of 26, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, which is about 34%. So I thought that it wasn't great. But if you look at how they scored their threes, most of it, I tell you what, number 12, I mean, he made some great passes when we had them fairly well defended. And most of them was the ball going to the post and then us ball watching and having the guy cut away from us when we were ball watching. They made a couple that way. But, I didn't think it was great by any stretch, but I didn't think it was bad either.
And then what are your impressions of Washburn?
They're number 5, to my knowledge, has been hurt. And this was his first day back. He's got game. And 12 is a really good player. He's got game. And those other dudes can make shots, whether it be 13 tonight or 23 made one, certainly 20 and 10. Those guys are pretty good shooters and good players. And then you got a big guy you can play around. So I think they're hard to guard. I think Brett's going to have a big year. I really do. And I wouldn't underestimate the big guy because, and forgive me on his name, we went by numbers today, but he certainly is a load and you can't move him. So I think they're going to have a good year. I know Brett likes him.
Bill, wanted to ask you about DeJuan. What is it in particular you think that makes him such a good passer and effective passer? I know he missed the lob pass, but he had a bunch of assists again.
You know, he's got 14 assists in the 3 games that he's played, really, and 2 turnovers, and they were both bad passes on lob. So we got to tighten that up. He overthrew Oach, and then he overthrew Tristan tonight, even though I thought Tristan had a chance to make the play on it. But I just think, you know, his instincts are good, and he's got great feel and everything. He just got to get where he's, you know, in my opinion, maybe guard the ball a little better. But I just love how he plays. You know, it's amazing to me. If you got 5 guys out there that think they're all scorers, your offense isn't going to look near as good as if you got 4 guys out there that think they're going to score and 1 guy that doesn't think that, and that guy's just a ball mover. It is, you know, it's just so much better. So, you know, and I know that teams will guard him a certain way, and I think he shoots it good enough to keep people honest. But I just love his feel and how he moves the ball. I just think we're better when he's in the game.
Do you think you've got a good 3-point shooting team this year, or will it be kind of up and down, do you anticipate?
I think that we got good shooters. I don't think that we have, you know, we don't have Svi and Devontae and Malik and LeGerald. Whenever LeGerald Vick, who is the best 3-point shooter in America, the next year is your worst 3-point shooter on a team, that means you got some pretty good shooters. We don't have that. But we do have guys that can make shots. And so if in fact that you know, if we're smart enough to play to the guys that are making shots, and we're smart enough to take the shots that we know that we're, you know, it's a 40 or 50% chance we'll make it, and know how to get those shots as opposed to, you know, trying to force them or whatnot, I think we can become a pretty good 3-point shooting team. But you go back and think about that team in 2018, that was a different deal with those cats. I mean, that was those guys were dangerous all the time, and then you open the floor and then let Doak go to work. I don't know that we quite have that, but I do think we got guys capable of making shots.
Bill, I'm asking you to. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm asking you to go back about a week. So apologies, or a few days, not a week. But against Kentucky, you guys played 5 guards more than half the game. You out-rebounded them, and I think you beat them on the offensive glass too. What'd you make of that?
I loved it. I loved it. Now, that's not the way that I think most people would want to play Kentucky. I think you need to have a guy that can anchor it, but we weren't having that productive play from there. And to be real honest with you, Jalen has shown that he can defend the post because he can play him before he catches it, to put our risk at a more of a minimum than what our bigs have shown, because they're playing after he catches it. So I think that I'm comfortable playing that way. I really am. I don't think that you can win consistently over a course of 30 games or however many we're going to play this year, playing that small all the time. But I liked it. And the other thing is when you play somebody like Kentucky that you know you're going to play small, or you made this decision to play small, and they're all so long, it kind of puts a little bit of not fear is not the right word, but it puts certainly more of an emphasis on we have to do this or they could embarrass us. And so I think that was good. I don't think we felt that tonight. So I don't think we looked quite as good doing certain things, because I didn't think like we felt like that we had the same emphasis that we know we could get embarrassed if we didn't. So, but I'll be honest with you, I thought our kids competed their ass off Tuesday on the glass.
Hey, are you pretty comfortable with obviously DeJuan and Marcus and Bryce handling the point?
Yeah, I really think that, Bryce is not a true point guard. I think Marcus is kind of a 1.5, or 1.25. Juan's a 1. But if you notice, Juan actually enjoys playing off the ball in walk-up situations more. And Marcus is probably the primary handler. So I'm comfortable with any of the 3, but I do think that we'll be better against teams that pressure when 2 of the 3 are in the game probably. We haven't really had a team get after us like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're actually better when those type teams, come at us.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.